What's going on, Hellbillies? We're going to try to get through this one as quick as possible. It's taken me a long time. So, this is a beginner's guide, the top 10 things for learning to play lead guitar. It's going to be tips, it's going to be tools, and we're going to go through something real quick. I'm going to do a series of lessons here on YouTube called Think Inside of the Box. So we're going to learn that pentatonic scale, and I'm going to teach you it all over the place. Real simple, real easy. The 5 notes, the pentatonic scale. Number 10 is that pentatonic scale. That's going to be our main thing we're going to learn from this. Now, I know a lot of people out there say, oh, you don't need to learn the pentatonic scale. That'll hold you back. Just learn it. I don't know what they're trying to teach you, okay? Jimi Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Eric Clapton, Buddy Guy, all these great guitar players, they're all pentatonic guys. Okay, there's other stuff out there to learn too, but I don't think you're going to get to that spot until you learn the pentatonic scale. Now, a lot of guys will tell you to learn arpeggios, and the arpeggio should be 1 and the pentatonic should be 2. But I think you need to learn the pentatonic first, then learn the arpeggios, and then we can move on to the chords, learning chords and the notes that go around the chords, you know, the cage system. But you're a beginner, you're intermediate, you need to learn the pentatonic first. So that's what this is going to teach you. We're going to learn the same pattern all over the neck, okay? Now, and I mean the same pattern. You know, the only finger pattern we're going to learn and work on is the 5 notes is the 1-4, 1-3, 1-3, 1-3, 1-4, 1-4. We're going to learn that all over the place. All over the place. All over. So then when you have that idea, moving all over, and we're going to learn the pentatonic on 1 string. So we're going to play it up and down on 1 string. We're going to know that inside and out, and then we're going to move on to something else once we know that, okay? So that's number 10, the pentatonic pattern. Number 9, things you need to know are octaves. Now, this is really easy. We can learn this right now. We don't have to wait for another lesson. I'll do another lesson, but right now, okay? Here's our A note, right? You see that? A. Here's our next A. It's right here on the D string, okay? Those are the same note. That's your octave. Anywhere I move that to, it is the same thing. If I move it here, it's my G. That's going to be my G octave. Okay? My F. That's going to be my octave. My E. My octave. So knowing that's the same note, that's a big help, you know? So you're going to go a whole step up and 2 strings down, and that'll be your octave. Now from this octave, we got to go a step and a half. Just like in the scale, a step and a half and 2 strings down. That's going to be our A there. So that's our octave. There's another A over here, which is an octave too. So I want you to remember, if you know a note on the E string, it's also the same note on the high E string. We got the octaves and the strings. Now before you know it, you're going to learn the E and the A string. You're going to learn the notes on there, and you're going to know your octaves. You're going to know every note you need to know, okay? You're not going to... I don't know every note on the guitar, but I have the tools to know where every note is, okay? Does that make sense? That's a much easier way of dealing with it than, oh, I'm going to memorize where every note on the guitar is. Oh, my God, no. No. In this course, what we're going to learn is we're going to learn where every A note on the guitar is, okay? That's just what we're going to learn. When we do the next course, we'll learn a different note. But if we know where every A note is on the guitar, we're that much ahead of the game, okay? So, you know, here's an A note. There's an open A. Here's an A. Here's an A. There's A's all over, you know what I'm saying? And you know, if we know all those A's, plus if we know the A, then we know where the 4 and the 5 are going to be. We know that the G is going to be 1 step up. We know that the B is going to be 1 step, you know, down, backwards, down and up. All of a sudden, you're going to know where all these notes are, and your life's going to be much easier, you know. The other note I like to concentrate on is the E note. knowing where all the E's are makes your life easier too. Okay, let's move on. Tuner. I cannot tell you how important this tuner is to you. Now, it doesn't have to be this tuner, but I like these clamp-on tuners like this. Okay, this goes on the headstock over here, and it's pointing. For one, I could tune my guitar, which is a big, we need a guitar that's in tune to learn. And when I'm looking for a note, the tuner's going to tell me where that note is. You know what I'm saying? Like, is this my A? Like if you're just wondering, because we all like question ourselves. That's an A, but you look at the tuner and say, yeah, that's an A. There's my G. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, to me, that tuner is the hammer in your toolbox. Okay, you need a hammer, you need a screwdriver, you need a drill. That is the hammer of the toolbox. Okay, and then I'll give you a couple other tools coming up here in a second. Okay, number 7, root notes. Song is in the key of A, your root note is the A note, correct? Okay, we're clear on that. There's a few other root notes in a progression, okay? So let's say we're playing an A progression, a 1-4-5 A progression. Our 4 is our D, and our 5 is our E. And those are also root notes that we need to know because we're going to do work off of those notes. We need to know those root notes. So it's very important to, if you're playing a jazz thing and it's a 2-5-1, you need to know that, your root note is going to be the B, the E, and the A on a jazz thing. That's 2-5-1. On our rock and roll stuff, it's going to be 1-4-5. It's going to be the A, the D, and the E. But it's really important that we know that, because if we're going to play a solo and we're playing an A, there's our 4 note because that's where the change is going to come, right? They're going to play a little bit, and then we're going to go to the 4 note, okay? So if I'm playing a solo, there's my 4 note. It's right underneath my root, my A. Very important to know. And then my 5 note. When I play, people always say, I can hear every chord change as you're playing a solo. They know what chord change is. If I'm playing a solo and you're playing rhythm behind me and you miss the chord change, you missed the chord change because that's how I play. I play so that you can hear the chord changes in everything I do. And to me, those are my heroes. That's how my heroes play. That's how Stevie Ray Vaughan played. If Stevie Ray Vaughan didn't, his bass player left, you would still know when he went to the 4 chord or the 5 chord because that's the kind of solo he played. Buddy Guy does the same thing. And those are the guys that I look up to and I've always, based my thing around. Even though I do a lot of Waylon Jennings stuff and whatnot, those guys are really my roots, and I go back to them when I'm playing. So root notes, super important. We're going to learn those, and we're going to know those. Okay, here we come up on number 6. Number 6 is 2 tools. One is a looper pedal. If you're learning to play lead guitar, a looper pedal is just a priceless piece of equipment to have. Now, I have several loopers on this board right here. I have a $20 looper that I bought off Amazon. It's an A-Moon looper. It's just a looper button with a volume knob on it. It doesn't do anything else. I don't really use it a whole lot, but it's on there. Sometimes I like to put an intro to the show, and I'll record some ethereal guitar stuff, and I'll put that on there, and or whatever. So that's on there. My second looper is one of those loopers with 10 slots in it. If I'm playing by myself, I'll have different rhythms on there, just little basic rhythms of me playing or of just rhythmic stuff, like drum kind of stuff, just to keep the song going. If I do a Johnny Cash song, Folsom Prison Blues, I got on there, but the whole time it's just, and that keeps the rhythm going. And there's another thing when you're learning to play lead guitar, keep that rhythm going because you've got to stay in rhythm. So a looper pedal, a priceless piece of thing. I have a vocal processor on there. It has a looper pedal on it. I'm buying another looper pedal that has a drum machine in it so that I can upgrade my solo kind of stuff. So when I go out to play, I don't always have to have like the rock and roll drums on the drum machine. I can have like the cage on thing and different kind of stuff just to keep the night rolling and to keep it interesting. Even though if I'm playing by myself or I got, say, like it's me and a harp player or something like that, because, times are hard right now. And when we get back together and get to go outside and play gigs again, I don't know what's going to happen, if I'm going to be able to find. I think a lot of musicians are going to quit playing, to tell you the truth. That's what I think. So I'm trying to prepare for that, okay? So a looper pedal and backing tracks. There's another thing I want to talk to you about, backing tracks. Backing tracks to me are awesome. I have a whole playlist on my thing, personal playlist, it's hidden, nobody can see it, of backing tracks. And you know what? In all reality, if you guys want, if somebody requested it, I'll make my backing tracks, public. I'm not trying to hide them or anything. It's just that when I come down here, sometimes, it's 9 o'clock at night, and I don't want to mess around with loopers. I just hit the phone. I put the backing tracks on. The first one's 8 minutes long. It's like a country rock kind of thing. I solo over it for 8.5 minutes. Woo! I feel good. I go to the next one. It's like a blues thing in the key of E. I solo over that. I think that one's like 12 minutes long. Before you know it, I got 20 minutes of practice in. My fingers hurt. I need to have a sip of coffee. I'm like, woo. So that's what I'm saying. Loopers and backing tracks. That's like your screwdrivers and your drill. You know what I'm saying? In your toolbox. Those things right now, when you're learning to play, even when you know how to play, those are tools that, they keep your chops up, because sometimes it gets hard. Right now, we have a COVID thing going on. It's very hard to keep your chops up if you don't have your drummer coming over and your bass player, and you're not going out and playing on Tuesday night at an open mic stuff. Man, it's hard. So those are really good tools to have, okay? We'll move on real quick. The next one, number 5. Let me have a sip. Oh, coffee in the evening. Okay, time and time management. Now, if you're a beginner and maybe a late intermediate is probably where you're going to be with these lessons with me. Time. You have to dedicate yourself to this. Now, I'm not saying I need you to dedicate 6 hours a day, 7 days a week. No, it's not going to work that way. I know that it's not going to work that way. That's something stupid that I do, okay? Believe me, I've had days where I practice for 12 hours, then I have to go audition somewhere for a couple of hours. Then I come home and practice for a couple more hours because I'm in the mode. And the next day I can't even move my finger. I got a callus the size of, Cleveland, Ohio on my finger. So that's too much. That's just me. That's what I do. I don't think you should do that. But I think you should practice 4 hours a week, solid 1 hour a day, 4 days a week. You can do more, you can do less. But you have to dedicate some time to doing this. Even, okay, so you're going to do the 4 hours a week, and it's going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and the Saturday or Sunday when you can, and that's fine. And after the other days, take your guitar, put it next to the couch, you're sitting watching, I don't know what you're going to watch. Please don't watch those shows where they go for the battles for the singers. I can't stand those shows oh my God, I think that's ruining the music business. But you sit there and watch the news, watch the football game, and just run through that, and run through that scale. Just back and forth. Learn that muscle memory. Get that muscle memory so good that you can close your eyes and you can just play that over and over, and keep it without the volume so you don't aggravate the wife and you don't aggravate whoever, the dog. The dog won't care if you keep doing it over. I hope not, unless he's a bad dog. But anyway, there ain't no bad dogs. But just keep going back and forth, and back and forth. And when you get tired of that, come back over here and I'll show you some other ways to play the same scale, but with the same notes, but in different orders, so you don't get bored and you learn new muscle memory on your fingers. But I think right now we're all stuck in that day one. We're going to learn that pentatonic scale. We're going to learn it back and forth, okay? And then we'll go from there. All right, awesome. Number 4 is take a break sometimes, okay? If you're playing for 2 hours, you need to take a break. So go have a 5-minute cup of coffee, I hope you don't smoke cigarettes. I just quit smoking cigarettes this year. Don't do that. But whatever it is, take a little break from yourself. That kind of a break. You know what I'm saying? We go play a set. We play for an hour and 10 minutes. We go take a break. And you should do the same thing when you're practicing. Set up some time, like in your mind, like, oh, okay, let me go take a break. Now, because I know there's going to be some of you that are crazy out there that are going to practice 3 and 6 hours a day. Take a break in there. Go get something to eat. Go walk the dog and come back with a fresh head. Because your head gets so full, you can only keep so much information. If you're adding new information, you're going to be full. All right, so take a break, and not only take a break like that. If you're working really hard, say that you work really hard for a month with me here, and you doing great. Take a day off. Take 2 days off. Okay, find some time to take a break, because sometimes when you take a break and you come back to it, you find a whole new freshness, and when you find that freshness, that's when you start really like, ooh, you're starting to really move forward, and you'll be proud of yourself, and I'll be proud of you too. Okay. All right. Number 3. This is a super important one. They don't teach people to do this very much anymore, but I want you guys to do it if you want to succeed at this. This number 3 is to write things down with a pen and a pad of paper. Go to the store, get you a notebook, get a nice notebook that nobody else in the house will have, that they'll know it's that notebook, and start writing these things down. Write down the scales. It's okay that you could print it off on the computer, you can print it off on the phone, you can have it. That's fine. There's something that happens when you take a pen and a piece of paper and you write down information. It sticks in this head in a different way, okay? It sticks in there in a way that it seems to last longer, okay? And it sticks with you. Here's the other thing. I have a little book upstairs. It's a little hardcover book, it looks like a real book. Of course, it's got Reverend Hellbilly stickers on it and all that kind of stuff, But in that book, I have this stuff, not from the notebook. I transferred the stuff from the notebook that was really important into this book. I recently had a break from playing because I got sick, and I didn't play for a couple of months because I was so tired all the time, and I had brain fog. And even last week I had a thing of brain fog. But I have that in that book. And when I opened up that book, the first thing in that book was the 5 pentatonic positions. The second thing in that book was arpeggios. Major 7th arpeggio. Major 7th chords. All the stuff that I need to know that I'm trying to show you, and I will show you guys. It's all in that book. So I just got to flip through, 10 pages and get all that 10 things of information back, sit down and play them, and I'm right back to where I'm going. Maybe I'm a step short of where I got to be, but I could be there in 2 or 3 days and be right back to where I was, okay? So please, think about writing this stuff down. Even if you just go get a shitty notebook right now and, a pen and you're just jotting it down. It doesn't have to be neat. You could go back later and redo the whole thing, okay? Very good. Okay, number 2. I want you to practice with a tone that you like. You know what I'm saying? Do you have an amp that you like? Do you have pedals that you like? Get everything set up the way that you like to hear yourself play. And if you don't like it, then go fix that, But I want you to, play whatever the tone is, If it's like, that Steve Stevens tone on the line 6 that's all like high, gain and wow, 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 and you can hold a note for, If that's what you like, then I don't care. Go do that and get that tone, I don't like that tone. For me, I shouldn't say that. I like that once in a while. I like to be like, oh, yeah, because I can shred. I just don't do that. But I like to do it once in a while. No doubt about that. I like a cleaner tone. I play this Vox. I play a Marshall Twin Reverb. I play Deluxe Reverb. I got clones on the floor, Keeleys. I got the Octopus delay. I got the Line 6 M5, which I'm going to do a thing about. Everyone should get one of those M5s. It's got like every pedal in the world in it. And I don't really care for the overdrives in it, but it's got delays. It's got the Qtron. It's got the Mootron. It's got all this stuff in there for $150. So I'll do another video on that. But get a tone that you enjoy. I want you to enjoy the tone when you're doing this because that's going to make you play more. Okay, number one, and the last thing is, when we learn this, it's going to be 5 notes we're going to learn. And I'm trying to impress that upon you so you don't get overwhelmed. We're only going to learn 5 notes. 5 notes. That's not that hard, right? 5 notes. We're going to learn it all over the neck, but it's only going to be the same 5 notes. It's going to be the A. It's going to be C, D, E. It's going to be G. Those are the only 5 notes, and we're going to learn it. So if you want to get yourself, go on the Google and print out a note sheet of a neck, and then think about it and write down all those 5 notes, and then you can see it or whatnot. Go ahead and do that. You know what I mean? So don't get overwhelmed. It's not that hard what we're going to do. And if you stick with me for like a month, 6 weeks, I think you'll be playing lead guitar and you'll be really impressed, and you won't be stuck in that one position, in that one box, in that one tone. You'll be all over the neck, and you'll be happy. We're also going to learn, the same scale on one string, up and down one string. Because if you can play, so we're playing in the, in A, and you can go and move to that same scale 12 frets away, that's going to be great. You know what I'm saying? We got to move. You can't stay in that one spot. It's just lame. It's just lame. But we're not going to do it. We don't do it. I don't do it. You're not going to do it. You're going to stick with me, and we're going to learn this, and we're going to kick butt, okay? All right. Reverend Hellbilly, do me a favor if you stuck with me. I know that was a long one. I'm sorry. Give me a like. Hit the like button. Subscribe. Stick with me. I will get these lessons out as soon as possible. I'll try to get one out every day or every 2 or 3 days. If I take a week on one, don't. I'm going to do a thing on. I want to do a thing on the M5, and I'm going to build a new guitar. And I want to show you guys that too, to build a parts guitar. Parts guitars are super important. I think they're a lot of fun, and they make everything. This has all got to be fun for me. Okay. All right. Reverend Hellbilly saying, right on, peace. Let your God go with you, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.